are celebrating and supporting the LGBTQ plus community on National Coming Out Day. The coming out process looks different for everyone, but there are resources available to help those in their journey of self-discovery. Joining me this morning is Kennedy Lofton with the Montrose Center to explain the significance, of this day. This is a really big day for so many people, and not just people who are coming out, but for those who love them as well.
Exactly. And this is a holiday that has its history deep in the Houston's LGBTQ plus community. And so the legend goes like this. The very first March on Washington was in 1979 on October 14th. And the reason that date was selected is because one of the prominent leaders in Houston, Ray Hill, was the person that set the date. And his birthday was October 13th. And so he wanted to gather all of his friends together and celebrate for the first LGBTQ March on Washington. And that's how he got that date. Then the Human Rights Campaign, the largest...
HRC.
Yeah, HRC, the largest LGBTQ civil rights organization in the country, revived the LGBTQ March on Washington in 1987. And then they put it on October 11th to make it as close to October 14th as possible. So Houston leaders, which led the parade, and the first international judge, Judge Phyllis Frye, who's still in Houston, led the Houston delegation, which led the first LGBTQ March on Washington in 1979. So New York can have the Pride parades and the hottest part. Houston will kind of claim credit for the first March on Washington.
That's amazing. It's fascinating to learn the history and the role Houston had in that.
Absolutely.
That's really
leading
neat.
the first LGBTQ plus march on Washington in 1979 was the Houston delegation.
Wow, that's really amazing. Yeah. How can LGBTQ plus allies support their loved ones on this National Day of Coming Out?
Well, the first thing I want to say is we hope that they will support their loved ones on more than just October 11th.
You don't need a day to do that.
You don't need a day to do that because you're surrounded by members of our community, probably much more than you know. And for allies, there are simple ways. You can put up a flag, a rainbow flag, or the progress flag, or a sticker to kind of note your office area, classroom, or whatever you're marking as a safer space. And people may come up and ask you about your gender identity or your sexuality, but that will just kind of open up the conversation and allow you to just say, I'm an ally, but this is a safe space. I support you. And more difficult ways are to vote with more informed, vote on candidates you've researched, basically. Because a lot of people that love me, when I tell them which of their candidates that they vote for, because they typically vote on strict party lines, when I tell them, oh, that candidate believes in conversion therapy, or that candidate wants to strip parental rights from the parents of trans kids.
Educating yourself to make more informed decisions on who could impact you in your life. Let me ask you this. Throughout the course of these several decades since National Coming Out Day has been in existence since the 70s, as we just talked about, has the day itself in later years, in more recent years, taken on more meaning, more significant meaning?
I think so.
Yeah.
And one of the way we see this is that our youth are coming out younger and younger at different ages. So, and considering that our youth are 25% of our youth become homeless when they come out to their guardians under the age of 18. And even though there's only about 7 to 10% of us, and that's an estimation, we don't really know because we're not counted in the census, but 40%, this is a national stat, 40% of the youth that are homeless identify as LGBTQ.
Yeah, it's one of the most vulnerable groups.
Exactly. And when you add in our food insecurity and that we're still being impacted heavily by HIV, you're coming out into maybe difficult circumstances, especially if you're a young person.
Talk about the resources available for those through the Montrose Center.
So the Montrose Center started as a counseling center back in a time when everything we serve, from gender identity to sexuality, was considered a mental illness in the DSM-4. That has long since been removed. And so we still have counseling, we have support groups, we have coming out groups for every age and every different kind of distinction within our LGBTQ communities. And between the subsidized therapy and our programming, we also have a youth program, which I love. It helps put LGBTQ housing insecure youth into their housing. And we have a senior center, a brand new senior center, the Law Harrington Senior Living Center, which happens to be the largest in the nation.
Wow.
That's LGBTQ affirming and affordable housing for seniors. And a lot of the seniors from the historic Third Ward that have moved in are coming out for the very first time in their late 60s and early 70s.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, so that
really
is very
inspiring.
meaningful.
Yeah, very meaningful indeed. And you know, we always say here on KPRC 2 Plus now during the 8 a.m. hour, everything starts with a conversation, having a dialogue. And so if all that you can do today on National Coming Out Day is to talk, that's great.
Exactly.
That's great. Thank you so much, Kennedy Lofton, for coming in this morning. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.